Today we are going to discuss about rural development. This is very important concept because about half of the population of India is living in rural areas. So we will discuss about the concept of rural development, the key issues of this chapter, that is the meaning of rural development, lingering and emerging challenges, and the challenge of rural credit. Today we are going to discuss about these 3 points. The remaining portion of the chapter we will discuss in our next video. Now, first, what is the meaning of rural development? Rural development is a wider concept. It is an action plan for the social and economic upliftment of the rural areas. This action plan focuses on handling the lingering and emerging challenges in rural areas for the overall development of people. Rural areas are facing many challenges. Few are lingering and few are emerging. Now we will discuss about the lingering and emerging challenges separately. First, about the emerging challenges of rural development. These are comparatively new challenges that are growing and developing in rural areas. In fact, they have started to exist prominently. The two principal emerging challenges are options of sustainable livelihood other than farming, and second is organic farming. Dear students, we will discuss about the emerging challenges of rural development in next video. Next, this is about the lingering challenges of rural development. Lingering challenges are those challenges that continue to exist for a long time, in fact, longer than the expected duration, means they are not coming to an end even after so many efforts made by the government. The principal lingering challenges are first is the rural credit and second is the rural market. Dear students, in this video, we will just discuss about the rural credit. That is, we will discuss only one challenge, that is one lingering challenge, that is rural credit. Now, need for rural development. Before discussing our topic, let's discuss about the need for rural development. Rural development, much needed thing in the society. The rural areas are not as developed as the urban areas are. They are suffering from the lack of opportunities to rise. Also, rural development is very necessary for the economic development of the country. The contribution from the side of rural people is very less. Dear students, as we have already discussed about the poverty and human capital formation, in these two topics we have discussed that poverty is more prominent in rural areas because of lack of opportunities, lack of economic as well as social opportunities in these areas. Similarly, we discuss about the human capital formation. The stock of skilled labor force is again very less in rural areas. Again, the reason is economic and social backwardness. That's why it is very important to make efforts for rural development in order to uplift the rural people economically as well as socially. Now, what's about the challenges of rural credit? We are going to discuss about the concept of rural credit. Rural or agricultural credit means credit for farming activities. In fact, credit is the lifeline of farming activity in rural areas because of two reasons. The very first, most of the farmers are small and marginal landholders, seldom generate surplus for further investment. Most of the farmers have very less land holdings. The size of land holdings are very small. That's why they are not able to generate surplus for further investment. And secondly, the gestation period between sowing and harvesting of the crops is quite long. What is gestation period? You have already discussed about this concept, that gestation period is the period between the investment and final return. Now, next topic, this is about the categories of credit needs. Short-term credit needs, medium-term credit needs, and long-term credit needs. Short-term credit is basically required for the purchase of inputs like seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and insecticides. These loans are taken generally for a period ranging between 6 to 12 months. Then the medium-term credit. Medium-term credit is required for the purchase of machinery, construction fences, digging of the wells, etc. Such loans are generally for a period ranging between 12 months to 5 years. Then, long term credit. Long term credit is required for the purchase of additional land, for carrying out permanent improvement on the existing land, etc. The period of such loans ranges between 5 years to 20 years. So, dear students, keep in your mind short term credit needs means the purchase of inputs. Medium term credit needs means something extra like the purchase of machinery, construction of fences, etc. Then the long term credit means the purchase of additional land. Accordingly, the period of loan also varies. In case of short term, it ranges between 6 to 12 months. In case of medium term, it ranges between 12 months to 5 years, and in terms of long term credit, it ranges between 5 years to 20 years. So dear students, you have to keep it in your mind. Along with these credit needs, there are some unproductive needs of the farmers is also there. Productive means that are farming needs. Non-productive or unproductive, these are social obligations like marriage of daughter or for other purposes. That's why the farmers need credit for productive as well as for non-productive purposes. Now, what's about the sources of rural credit? There are basically two sources. One is the non-institutional sources and second is the institutional sources. Non-institutional sources like landlords, village traders, money lenders, etc. Institutional sources include government, cooperative credit societies, commercial bank, regional rural banks, NABARD, etc. Traditionally, most of the credit needs of the farmers were met through non-institutional sources. Non-institutional sources accounted for 93% of the total borrowings of the farmers in the beginning of first 5-year plan. But now the scenario has completely changed. Today we are going to discuss about institutional sources. Now, what's about the institutional sources? There are mainly 5 institutional sources. One is the cooperative credit societies, second SBI and other commercial banks, third is regional rural banks, fourth is National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, popularly known as NABARD, then RBI. Dear students, these are very important, so try to understand these concepts properly. Now we will discuss one by one. First is the cooperative credit societies. The cooperative credit societies provide adequate credit to the farmers at reasonable rate of interest. Currently, cooperatives account for about 20% of rural credit flow. This is very important because cooperative credit societies are following a very important rule. These societies ensure timely and rapid flow of credit to the farmers, elimination of the money lenders as credit agencies, spread credit facilities across all regions of the country, then provision of adequate credit in areas covered by special programs of development. Dear students, many areas are taken for special programs of development because of their backwardness. In India, regional imbalance is there, means few areas are quite backward and few are quite developed. So in order to remove these regional imbalances, special programs of development have already started, and in order to provide funds to these areas, cooperative societies play a very important role. Now, next topic, this is SBI and other commercial banks. The State Bank of India was set up in 1955 with a focus on rural credit. The government realized that rural credit needs could not be met by the cooperative societies alone. That's why the commercial banks were directed to offer credit directly to the farmers as well as indirectly through cooperative societies. Dear students, we have a chapter of money and banking in our macroeconomics. In that very chapter, we will discuss the procedure of banks in India and how they play a keen role in development of a country. We will discuss this topic in that chapter. Now, this is regional rural banks and land development banks. Regional rural banks are also known as RRBS. On 2nd October 1975, five regional rural banks were established in Uttar Pradesh to promote credit supplies, particularly in the remote rural areas and backward districts, and now there are about 50 such banks are operating under the obligation to focus on credit needs of weaker section of the rural population. Again, keep in your mind, these are the banks that are located in rural backward rural areas, regional rural banks. It is very much clear from the name. These are the banks that are operating in backward and remote rural areas to focus on credit needs of weaker sections of the rural people. Now, what's about the National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, NABARD? This is very important topic. NABARD is an apex institution handling policy planning and operation in the field of rural credit and related activities. It was established in 1982. Its main functions are to serve as an apex funding agency, to take appropriate measures to improve the credit delivery system, to coordinate the rural financing activities of all credit institutions, to undertake monitoring and evaluation of projects refinanced by it. This is very important because NABARD is the apex institution and it serves as apex funding agency, and it monitors the economic policies made for the rural credit, and it coordinates the rural financing activities of all credit institutions. Dear students, take it in your mind that institutional sources are also known as multi-agency system. Multi-agency system means so many different institutions are working for the same focus, that is to provide rural credit, and all these agencies are funded by NABARD, that is National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development. But NABARD is also funded by RBI. So now we will discuss about the role of Reserve Bank of India. RBI has been playing an important role in providing credit to agriculturists and strengthening credit institutions. Reserve Bank of India, popularly known as RBI, is an apex body of entire banking system of India. We will discuss about the functions of RBI in money and in the chapter of money and banking in our macroeconomics. Now we will discuss about the role of RBI in agricultural credit. Its main functions are short-term refinance facilities for agriculture and allied activities, development of cooperative credit institutions, expansion of the sources of funds for short-term and long-term needs, training and professionalization of cooperatives, conducting rural credit surveys to determine the coverage of rural households, helping bank branch expansion program to provide cheaper facilities, guidance to all concerned on matters relating to rural credit. Don't forget, RBI is the apex body of entire banking system. So all the financial work done for rural credit is overall monitored and evaluated as well as funded by RBI. So RBI plays a keen role for the development of rural areas. Now, one more point, this is self-help groups. Again, a very important topic. It is also known as support group. Now, these are village-based financial intermediaries usually composed of 10 to 20 members of the same area. Members make small regular savings, contributions and lend at a very low rate of interest. These are non-profit organizations and work for the welfare of the members. Main objective is to empower women, building blocks of the rural and village economy. Self-help groups are also known as microcredit programs. This is very much clear. Self-help groups means these are made by the people. These are the groups made by the villagers themselves. These members make small contribution of their savings, and out of these savings they provide loans to each other. Further, self-help groups are given can take loan from banks also without any collateral, just because of their guarantee, just because of the group guarantee they can get loans from banks at very less interest, even without any collateral. I think everybody knows about the word collateral. Collateral means a guarantee, means a an asset, and a mortgaged asset, you can say. If someone wants to take loan from bank, definitely the person will have to mortgage some of his assets, and this assets, the mortgage of this asset is known as collateral. So self-help groups can be provided loan from bank without any collateral, just because of the guarantee of the group. Now, next topic, this is rural banking, a critical evaluation. First, we will discuss about the positive effect, then we will discuss about the negative impact. Positive effects, rural banking in India has significantly expanded after the nationalization of major commercial banks in 1969. Rural banking has helped in raising farm and non-farm out by providing services and credit facilities to farmers. It has helped in achieving food security, which is reflected in the abundant stock of grains. It provides long-term loans with better repayment options. It thus helps in eliminating moneylenders from the scene. It had a positive effect on income and employment, especially after the Green Revolution, because we have already discussed that rural credit is the lifeline for development, for the development of rural areas, and because of development of institutional sources, now the farmers can get loan for farm as well as non-farm activities at low rate of interest and without any painful recovery, means they do not have to uh, mortgage their asset or do not have to leave their assets forever in order to pay their uh, loans taken from banks. Further, in our next topic, we will discuss about the distress sale. The rural credit from institutional sources has also has also removed, rather you can say, removed the problem of distress sale. We will discuss about the concept of distress sale in our next video. Now, what's about the negative effect? The formal institutions, except commercial banks of rural credit, have failed to develop a culture of deposit mobilization, means farmers are not capable to save and to mobilize their savings. The sources of institutional finance are inadequate to meet the requirements of agricultural credit. Institutional sources are not accessible for all because these are not established in remote areas, means regionally backward areas do not have any banks or any of institutional sources. Further, you can say these institutional sources require collateral documentation, means so many formalities, and our poor farmers, illiterate farmers, are not able to perform to complete these formalities. Further, they are so illiterate that they are not able to understand about the available opportunities. So this is again a major issue. Now, vast proportion of rural households are out of the credit network as some kind of collateral security is required for taking loan. Small and marginal farmers receive only a very small portion of the institutional credit, as a large portion of institutional credit is taken away by the rich farmers, because rich farmers have complete information about the opportunities that are provided to the farmers. So they fetch maximum of the benefits of these facilities. Our poor farmers, backward farmers, they are quite illiterate and are not aware about these opportunities and facilities. That's why they do not capable to get any benefit from these sources. Recovery of agricultural loans has become a serious problem. जो लोन प्रोवाइड किए जाते हैं वो वापस बैंक्स को नहीं मिलते, ये भी एक मेजर चैलेंज बनता जा रहा है. सो दिस इज़ अबाउट द नेगेटिव इफेक्ट. सो डियर स्टूडेंट्स, we are capable to complete the critical evaluation of rural credit. Now we will discuss how to solve the problem. The bank should change their approach from just being lenders to building up relationship banking with the borrowers. सिर्फ एक लेंडर के फॉर्म में काम ना करें बल्कि उनको एक ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बियर करनी पड़ेगी. द हैबिट ऑफ थ्रिफ्ट शुड बी inculcated among the farmers. As we have already discussed, they are not able to save, they are not able to mobilize their saving. That's why it is very, very important to inculcate a habit of saving as well as to mobilize their savings. It is very important. Then the farmers should be guided how to make efficient utilization of financial resources. They must be aware how to use these funds. Instead of using them for unproductive purposes, they should be motivated to use these financial help to help only for the productive purposes. An effective mechanism for the recovery of agricultural loans should be evolved at the earliest because the rate of defaulter is continuously increasing. जो वापस नहीं करते लोन, जो प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस में से पैसे बाहर निकल जाते हैं, वो एक मेजर चैलेंज है. वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट दिस इन आवर चैप्टर मनी एंड बैंकिंग, बट meanwhile we are just going to discuss it is very, very important to motivate farmers to repay their loans taken from banks. Cooperative credit societies in rural areas should be strengthened and their working should be made. As we have discussed that presently about 20% of credit needs are met by the cooperative credit societies. That's why it is very, very important to strengthen this institute. So dear students, we have discussed about the institutional sources of institutional sources as well as their role in rural development. So with this, your topic is over. We will discuss the remaining portion in our next videos. So what's your homework? You are to revise this topic properly and please send me your doubts if you have any. Enjoy your day. Do your work properly. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye, dear students.
¿Qué crees?